Matilda Theiss Early Childhood Behavioral Health has been the cornerstone of mental health services for young children and their families in Western Pennsylvania for over 40 years. Matilda Theiss provides person-centered, family-focused, positive approaches to therapy. Our programs address a wide array of therapeutic issues of children with special behavioral health needs. This includes emotional and behavioral disturbances, trauma exposure, prenatal drug and alcohol exposure, and/or parents' mental illness diagnosis.
Matilda Theiss started as a regular child care center to help folks in the community have somewhere for the children to be while they were working. It has grown and developed from that daycare center into the therapeutic program that it is today. Still working with the parents in the community. We've just outstretched our arms to people outside of the community as well as the parents that we've been serving for over 40 years. I've been in Theiss, it seems like a lifetime. About 30 years ago, I started part-time as an assistant teacher when it was a regular daycare center. It's really affected that community and the whole just having some place where you know your children are safe while you're at work. A lot of times they had a combination. They come there for childcare and they also use the medical facilities. We got to know the nurses as well as the doctors.
In 2012, the Early Childhood Trauma Treatment Center was created to support young children who are experiencing traumatic stress from exposure to abuse, neglect, community or domestic violence, natural disasters, or other traumatic events. The Early Childhood Trauma Treatment Center has increased access for young children to the most effective, evidence-based treatments for early trauma. Our approaches are family-focused, recognizing the importance of parents in the development of young children and including them in the intervention process.
We have an outpatient service where families can come in with their children and meet with a social worker or therapist or psychologist once a week and receive services. We have a mobile therapy service where clinicians, master's level clinicians, can go out into the community, into children's homes, meet with them and their families, their parents, but also can go into their schools and work with children there in their classrooms, meet with their teachers, and provide behavioral health services. We have a new service at a local primary school that provides those same kind of services in that educational setting. Back in 2012, we became very aware that we had a lot of children with involvement in the child welfare system. So by definition, we knew a lot of our kids were having had significant trauma histories. And the opportunity came along to apply to become a member of this National Child Traumatic Stress Network, to apply for this federal grant to start the Early Childhood Trauma Treatment Center. When we started collecting data on the center to put this application together, we realized that we had a lot higher numbers of kids in child welfare and who have trauma histories than we even thought that we did. We had 55% of our kids were involved in the child welfare system. About 75 or over 75% of our kids at that time were had experienced trauma in their histories, and these are kids 5, 6 years old and under. We're the only provider who specialize in behavioral health services exclusively for young children in the region. Since the inception of the Early Childhood Trauma Treatment Center in 2012, we've screened and seen nearly 300 children in the programs, across the programs. Over 93% of those children screen positive for trauma. And as a result of the screenings and the children we've seen through the evaluation process at the center, we have then provided treatment to nearly 100 children across our different trauma therapies. The results that we're seeing in those treatments are very positive. We're thrilled at the outcomes that we're getting. We're seeing changes in aggression. We're seeing positive changes in children's symptoms of anxiety, their symptoms of depression. Kids are getting better when they come into treatment and they stick with treatment. With the programs at Matilda Theiss, we're working to build a bridge from the events in children's and families' past to a more emotionally healthy future.
I became involved with Matilda Theiss on my undoing. My granddaughter was having behavioral problems, and I thought it was best to get her in counseling. Her mother just couldn't provide for her or take care of her, so I stepped in and now I'm doing it, and I wanted to make sure Maggie was on track. My life before Matilda Theiss was hectic. Crazy all the time. Maggie had severe behavioral problems, and it's getting a lot better. We're in play therapy with Miss Terry, and it really works for Maggie. It helps her express her feelings, and she's very close to Miss Terry. The impact of treatment for me and Maggie is we have an open communication, and I can now help her with her behavior just by talking with her. So that's how it's helped us. It's an everyday, on your toes, and Miss Terry, we see her weekly, and it's a must for Maggie. But life's a lot better than it was when it first started. It was very chaotic, and Miss Terry helped us sort things out and talk about feelings. This was the only facility that let us get involved with Maggie being 2, and it has been a life-changing experience.
It is the support from the greater community that allows Matilda Theiss Early Childhood Behavioral Health to build the bridges for children and their families to begin their journey to heal.